Bizarro is a Bulgar and Mabillard floorless coaster located at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. And this past September, I got the chance to experience this coaster for the very first time, so today I'll be reviewing it, talking about the layout, talking about what I like and dislike with the ride, then giving it a final score out of 100 at the end of the video. Alright, so for the layout, you're going to come out of the station and go into a little left-hand turn, and then straight up into the lift hill. Then after you crest over the lift hill, you go into a little pre-drop, then into a really nice drop, curved drop to the left, which most speed and flows coasters have a curved drop, and this one's definitely really good. I found like Dominator, it gives some great whip if you're in the back row outside seat, which I got one ride there. And the front row is definitely good, but not like anything too special. But in the back row, you get some great whip, and it's a really, really fun drop. And then you'll actually go through some rings at the bottom of the drop, which are pretty cool. Nice bit of theming. Then you'll go into your vertical loop, which is pretty good, pretty forceful, gives, a little bit of hang time. Nothing too special, but it's overall pretty fun. Then you'll go into your dive loop, which is, pretty fun, gets a nice hang time, but again, nothing super special. But at the bottom of it, you actually have this really cool fire effect, which is awesome. They usually run it, it's usually on, but I don't think it's on like all the time, I'm not sure, but that's overall really cool. And then you'll go into your 0-0, which is definitely nice and whippy, not as good as like one on like Kumba or Hulk or Montu or Great Bear, but it's overall really fun whippy 0-0. You can't really go wrong with the 0-0 on a looping B&M. And into your Cobra roll, which is pretty smooth. It does get some nice whip. Well, this one honestly was not my favorite. I found it it's like kind of jerky and almost kind of gave headbanging, but not really. It was kind of rough, but it was, still fairly smooth. Whippy, forceful. It's overall pretty fun element, but not super great. But I do like actually how it goes over the entrance, which is really cool. You walk through the Cobra roll to get to this ride, which is really unique. Then you'll bank right, get some little bit of whip as you go into the mid-course brake run, which I was actually kind of disappointed. I found when I rode this coaster, at least my first ride, they ran the mid-course kind of hard, so you kind of slammed into it. But whatever. Then you'll drop off the mid-course. If it's trimming really hard, you won't really get any forces off this drop, although it seems like from the POVs and from what I've heard, you get some really good whip off this drop off this mid-course if the trims are not running very hard in the back, so that's cool. You'll go into a helix, which is pretty intense. Then into like this little turn here. Then two corkscrews, the interlocking corkscrews, which are pretty fun, whippy, and smooth. You actually go through around this, like, I'm not sure what it is, but it's this theming element. It's like this big silver, like, thing, and it has, like, mist and stuff. It's really neat. Then you'll go into some little bank turns, then to the brake runs. So that's about it for the layout. Alright, so talking about what I like with this ride, it's a pretty fun coaster. It's nothing too special, it is just a B&M floorless. However, this was actually the first ever B&M floorless coaster, which does make it kind of cool. It opened up back in 1999, actually as Medusa, and then is rethemed to Bizarro along with, it was formerly Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags New England. They were both rethemed into Bizarro in 2009. This one's still Bizarro, but if you guys don't know, which I'm guessing probably all of you do, that one is now Superman the Ride. This ride's just pretty good. It's actually really smooth. It's got some good whippy elements, like the 0-0, the Cobra roll, the corkscrews. You get some good hang time on the vertical loop and the dive loop. It's got some pretty good turns, and that helix is pretty intense. It is a fairly typical layout for a floorless coaster, but I think the theming is really what makes this ride, kind of stand out. There are some great theming elements, like those rings right after the first drop, similar to the rings on Superman and the ride after that
it happens till that second, like, eject a camelback after that overbank before it goes into that twister section. So that's cool. It has mist there sometimes. You have that fire effect, which is awesome. You have that, as I mentioned, that silver thing and those corkscrews that sprays mist. Not really sure what it is, but I'm guessing it's something from like the Marvel superhero universe, something to do with the actual Bizarro character himself. Which is, I guess another thing I like about this ride, this is the only coaster, I guess, themed to Bizarro, now that, Bizarro at Six Flags New England is now Superman the Ride. So that is pretty unique theme and pretty cool. There's even like a thing on the station, it's like this horse, and it says like Medusa Mining Company. I'm not sure what the horse is doing, but that Medusa Mining Company, I guess that's a tribute to the ride's former name, so that's kind of cool. But overall, this ride's pretty intense, smooth, fun. None of the elements really stand out. I mean, the corkscrews are, I guess, some of the better B&M corkscrews I've experienced. Is zero gyros. It's a pretty average zero gyro. Same with the cobra roll, the vertical loop, and the dive loop. And just this ride in general is not super standout, but it's overall just fun. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. It's got a pretty good ride length. It's got great theming and inversions. Very smooth. Pretty intense and forceful. It's got a good drop. I like the color scheme. It's just really fun. I also like how you can kind of walk inside the ride's layout, kind of similar to like Dominator. So you can get some really cool clips of this ride. I like how you go through the cobra roll to get to the entrance. That's really, really neat. And I just love all the effects and everything. And another thing, this ride actually used to have onboard audio. It doesn't anymore. But that's just another cool theming element for this ride. And there are some, I think some other things scattered throughout the layout. So that's cool. I like how they just took, kind of ride that would be kind of average if it weren't for the theming. Standard beat and floorless, and then give it some good theming, and just to kind of spruce it up and make it stand out a bit more. I do think it is a fairly typical floorless layout in general, floorless, but, it's overall pretty fun. It's my second favorite one behind Dominator and King's Dominion. I don't know, I just thought Dominator was more intense, and I liked the layout more. But it's still pretty fun, but I like it more than Kraken at SeaWorld Orlando, just because I found it smoother. I need to get another ride on Kraken, because it was a little rough, and I only rode it with the VR. But I think once I get another ride on that, that'll probably be my favorite floorless. There's some other ones that look better, like Superman Krypton Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, Medusa at Discovery Kingdom. And there's that one in Spain, the Superman-themed one, which looks like possibly the best floorless out there. It's got 7 inversions and no mid-course, and it's got a straight drop, which looks just awesome. So it is cool, it was the first floorless, so I guess, it makes sense that it'd be kind of, I guess they base a lot of the other layouts off of it, so that's why I guess it seems kind of basic, but I think that's a unique thing about it, is it did come before all the other ones. And it is still pretty smooth for its age, so it's, overall really fun. It is my 6th favorite coaster, Great Adventure, behind Green Lantern, Batman, Nitro, King of Con, and El Toro. I think a lot of people would say this is top 5 coaster, Great Adventure, but I don't quite agree. I think Green Lantern and Batman are better, which is kind of controversial, but whatever. I think this ride's really fun. Some people think it's top 3 at the park. I don't really agree, but I'd say it's definitely a good addition to the park's lineup, and a good coaster for being in the middle of the lineup. And it's just overall really fun. I like being on floorless coasters. It's definitely a fun one. It's pretty solid. This ride never really has a line from what I've heard. Usually, it did have a line when I went, probably because it was Fright Fest, but it's in a location in the park where just nobody really sees it, so it usually doesn't have a line, so that's good. It's in the middle of summer, on a weekday, you could probably go to this ride and it'd be a walk-on, so it's fun. And I did get a front row night ride too, which was really good. The other ride was a back row day ride, which was definitely pretty good, but the night ride was awesome. It was really cold because I didn't have a sweatshirt, especially with that mist, but it was really fun. At least they had that fire effect, which kind of, give me some warmth. Overall, the night ride on this coaster is really good. There's a lot of lighting, and the fact that it was front row made it even better. That was a really, really cool experience. I did only get those 2 rides on this, but it was just overall pretty fun. I'd say it's one of the better coasters at Great Adventure, but it isn't one of the best. And it's probably one of the better Flosses, but probably not like the best one. But it's overall it's a pretty fun ride, and solid B&M Floorless. It's intense, whippy, good hang time, good positives, and it's got some good forces. Good drop, good theming, long ride, smooth, lots of inversions. Overall, really fun. And it might make my top 50, I'm not really sure, but it's overall a pretty fun coaster. So for final score, I'm going to give Bizarro a solid 78. It's pretty fun, but nothing too special. It isn't one of the best coasters ridden, but it's probably in the upper half, so it's pretty fun. So that'll be about it for this review. Sorry for actually not uploading in about 5 days. I think at this point I've just been really busy with school and whatnot, and just other things. YouTube's not as big a priority for me, and just this whole week with catching up from missing 2 days of school, being hospitalized was, pretty crazy. I definitely had to take a lot of time to do that. But I'm hopefully back into uploading on my regular schedule now. I will hopefully have some more, reviews out and just other videos. But yeah, that'll be about it for my review of Bizarro, the original B&M Floorless coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.